What's going on, y'all? It's Malcolm, and welcome to the Loung'n Now podcast. Whether you're joining us for the first time or you're a returning lounger, I'm excited to have you here. For our new listeners, Loung'n Out is a podcast where we dive into a variety of topics that I find fascinating. From video games, fragrances, movies, shows, to comics, all along the way, we'll have engaging discussions and entertaining conversations. And for my returning loungers, welcome back. Your support really does mean the world to me, and I appreciate you pulling up. Whether you're new or returning, I do encourage you to follow the podcast so you never miss an episode. Whether you decided to hit that follow button before we begin, in the middle of an episode that catches your interest, or after you listen to what you feel is a fire episode, your support is truly appreciated. Let's keep the conversations going and the community growing. Thank you for being a part of the Lounge crew. All right, guys, what's going on? It's Malcolm, and welcome back to the Loung'n Now podcast. Now, like you saw on the last podcast, I fumbled the ball and had some scheduling problems, or really just some messaging problems. I didn't message Che like I thought I did about making it to the last podcast that I had with John, but got them both here, and we're going to talk about the Thunderbolts because Che and I watched it together, and John has seen it twice so far. So what's up?
You're good.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, we're here to talk about the Thunderbolts and what we thought about the movie. How you doing, Che?
I'm doing good.
Good. Yeah. What about you, John?
Not too bad. Long day yesterday with the graduation.
Yeah. Congratulations with that. You know,
Thank you.
Daughter graduating and everything. I know that's pretty big. You know, college.
Yeah.
First one.
So, what exactly is she going to school for? Or what is
digital
she
graphic arts.
Oh, cool.
Like she's even looking
games?
she's looking at going to game design. So
Hell
Nice.
yeah, that's sick.
Okay.
That's sick.
that's actually the main thing she's looking into now is game design. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I want to go to start looking into school for audio engineering, you know, for stuff like this, you know what I mean? So that like I can perfect the whole, you know, just audio and all that shit. And even music production, you know, I can probably take some classes on that and see where it goes because I like to dabble in making music and stuff. So for the first few podcast episodes, that was one of my beats that I made. That video game like beat, but you know, amateur, but whatever.
everybody starts somewhere.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're here to talk about the movie. What did y'all think about the movie?
Jay, you want to go first?
It was good. I enjoyed it very much. It's better than the previous Marvel movies that I encountered. Also better than most series on Disney Plus. So
Right. So do you think that like it was as good as everyone is saying? Like it was the best Marvel movie since Endgame?
I wouldn't say that. I don't think it's up to that point yet. But it's a good start for. I think it's the end of Phase 5. I believe the last movie before.
Right.
That way we can get a look into the Phase 6 movies.
Right. What do you think, John?
I think what the thing about it was we was talking about it off camera, but I wasn't expecting much going into it.
Right.
You know, because I had been disappointed with some of the TV series and
Yeah.
and the movies, and then I was pleasantly surprised on that end. Now it's not in-game level,
Right.
But,
Oh yeah.
I mean, it turned out to be. I mean, which same with Captain America and Brave New World or whatever it is this week with the catch line for it. But they both turned out to be better movies than I thought they'd be.
That's
Right,
good.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Thunderbolts had a whole lot more comedy than I was expecting too. So
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole Bob spill, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, I'm Bob.
yeah,
You know, they have like the advertisements or the trailers, like the Thunderbolts and Bob, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, I guess it's them hyping up, like, who is this Bob character? So whenever you went to go see the movie, you found out it's a Sentry. Spoilers, by the way. But yeah.
it's enough time. Plus, if you want to find out about the movie, you probably shouldn't click here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about them being the new Avengers?
Collectively, I don't think they have, like the original Avengers have, they have different powers.
Right.
Pretty much in this group, everybody
It's a super
is a
soldier.
super soldier or an assassin.
Like that's their power. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's it's not like Thor, Iron Man, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd kind of like to see him spin it like they do with the comics itself, and have like the Avengers, New Avengers, Young Avengers, Dark Avengers, and just each one of them have their own branch. Which they could do something with that, especially with Sam. Yeah, the whole thing about the government wanting to put together the Avengers again. So, and then there's a possibility for the Young Avengers because there's plenty of the kids around. And
I mean, I think one of the Avengers could be a show, whether it's the Young Avengers or whatever, kind of, or the Dark Avengers can have like a Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like type show, you know what I mean? Just doing all the covert stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that'd be cool. But as far as me, as what I feel about the movie, I thought it was good. Again, I agree, or not again, but I do agree with Che when he said that not on the level of what everybody is saying as far as it being the best thing since Endgame. I actually think that Spider-Man No Way Home was, better than, probably better than this movie. Like, not that this movie wasn't good, but I really do feel like this doesn't hold that title everybody is giving it, you know what I mean? But it is a good movie, and I think everybody should go see it, because I think the characters are good. Got to see Bucky again. I really actually like Bucky a lot. You know what I mean? Red Guardian. I think he's pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. He steals every scene he's in.
Oh, so. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's like one of those people who is like unapologetically himself, which is like a good thing. But, yeah. So what did y'all think about this entry?
From what I've looked up about him, because I don't really know too much. He was created through the Sentry program.
Yeah, that's what they play off of the movie.
Supposedly, they're trying to think who was a scientist's name, but he pretty much trying to recreate the super soldier serum, but with a more enhanced serum, and gave him like solar powers or something like that, because it seems like of course his outfit is like bright gold, like yellow,
like the sun,
like the sun, and supposedly he is just as strong as what, 1 million exploding suns or something,
something like that. Like 1 million or 300,000 suns or 1 million suns, or
something crazy.
Which I mean, I guess it goes also with the void part about it being complete darkness. He would be the light.
Right. Yeah. The whole yin and yang thing, basically. My only thing is, like, somebody made a good point about this from one of the videos I've watched. How did he go from, Captain America level super soldier to Sentry level, I guess experimentation?
Like, comic wise, they played it off well, but in the movie, like, they don't really explain how all of a sudden you go from tinkering around with the serum to all of a sudden make it just a literally super being. Like, he can fly, he can do totally invulnerable, and who knows what other powers he has. And,
like basically maybe they created a god, what I mean? Like he said, because he was having like, I guess he was starting to have like the god complex, because he was questioning himself or questioning I always forget her name.
Valentina.
Valentina. He was questioning her. It's like, why am I going to listen to you? Like, you said I'm like a god, right? And so,
like I shouldn't bow to anyone.
Right. So, I mean, I'm sure, it's kind of like the atomic bomb. They started with the first one, and now, like, the bombs nowadays are probably, 50 times greater than what they originally started off.
Right.
So, I mean, it could be that situation. Who knows? But, that's just a...
The only bad thing, like, especially with the cinematic version of the universe, like, every super soldier since Captain America has been weaker.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, how do you go weaker, then all of a sudden, like, super overpowered with the experimenting? It's just, I wish they would have, as much as I'm tired of the series, we talked about the WandaVision, we've talked about different series. I think this one would have actually benefited from like an 8-part series where you could dive deeper into all the experiment, whether it be just like through, mental flashbacks or whatever. You could really see how they built him up instead of just, bam, he has all these powers.
And, they could have been like throwing in like different nuances that's, you put it together. Like, oh, are they are they working on the Sentry, type shit? And then like another project comes out like, oh shit, I really think they're talking about the Sentry. And then, Thunderbolts, boom, Sentry. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Is it possible that they might have, speaking of the serum, they might have added in like some type of alien DNA to enhance those powers? Because like
maybe,
you know what I mean? Because you can't just start flying. You know what I mean? Like our scientists ain't that capable of like developing something.
She was working with the CIA originally, and that's what the whole concept is she was being impeached or whatever to be fired from it. But if you look at even going back to Captain America, where you had the leader and all his brain powers, he came up with the gamma pills and everything else. Like, what's to say he wasn't part of that program too, and helping tweak the serum, and then using like Kree blood or whatever, like they did with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Who knows what powers they could have gave her or gave him through the process. Plus, DNA left over from Captain Marvel from Endgame battle. Like, there's so many things they could tweak with it.
Yeah, or even Thor. Who knows? I mean, but my question was like, is he stronger than Thor? I mean, what is Thor's power level essentially?
From what I've read, if Sentry is weakened, Thor can get him. Even though they're both godlike, because I think Sentry is immortal, because I think he has been thrown into the sun and still lived. I think, I'm not sure where at in the comics, but I think he has lost to Thor. I think he lost to, was it World War Hulk?
World War Hulk? Oh, yeah. Was it a World Breaker Hulk?
Yeah.
There's a couple more. I think I don't know if anybody saw Venom 3: The Last Dance.
I did not. No.
Noel.
Yeah.
I think
Noel the Conqueror or whatever.
He got Sentry. In the comics as well.
So who is this guy? Noel the Conqueror? You said
it's something like that. Yeah. They don't go nearly as big of a bad as they could with. He was just I guess like the leader of the symbiotes or something like that. But yeah, he's really powerful in the comics, in which with Sentry, like there are moments, like said, that he is overpowered by certain times, in which Thor and Hawks, unanimously 1 and 2, usually with power levels, without using psychic levels like Jean Grey and stuff like that. But pure power, I would say he's on par with, but. They could probably be one of those where they trade off, like one here, one there, just
right.
Comic wise, now movie wise, they're probably keep Thor power creeped and just make Sentry the number one. Because they said it's the power of all the Avengers.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Single handedly take the Avengers or whatever is what they said in the movie. But
I guess it depends on like his mental state.
Yeah,
I mean, because if it's like. If it's creeping into where he's about to be the Void, then he's going to be weakened. So that's when you can take on Sentry. So,
Yeah, and even in the post-credit scene, it's like he's afraid to even use his powers now because he don't want the Void to come out. So
yeah. And it seemed
that actually does match the comics. That's the whole concept with him. Because in the comics, he has been around since Captain America, since Ant-Man. Like the original Hank.
Yeah, like 30 days, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and what happened was he got so powerful and he's always been fighting the Void just to come out and find out he is the Void.
Oh.
So they did one of the whole memory erasing spells.
Yeah, right.
Got everybody to forget about him except for, like, I think the Hawk still remembered who he was. Because, like, they would retcon and say, like, he would talk about the Yellow Man here and there, and it was always talking about Sentry.
No.
But nobody knew what he was talking about because the Hawk just rambles.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think, like, Doctor Strange or something new. But other than that, like, they had him erase the memory of everybody in the world to even forget who Sentry was.
So, go ahead. You look like
I was going to say, like, if they try to erase the memory of Sentry, they would have to erase the memories of everybody else because if they remember him, they might remind him, aren't you Sentry?
Right.
And then that would make him remember his old memories, his suppressed memories or whatever.
Yeah, and they was doing that because the Void is so strong and powerful. The only way to do it was to have both of them forget everything and no one remind him who he is, so that way they keep the Void trapped forever. And then...
Damn, that's crazy.
Like, And of course, then they have the comics where he'll remember and just, how the arcs go. But
so is the Void just as strong as the Sentry, or maybe stronger?
Best I understand, it's even stronger.
Wow.
But it's just, dark, pure evil, like which, you saw kind of like the Holocaust.
Yeah.
Thing he did, which, they did the thing you never see in a movie, and that's kill a kid.
Yeah.
It's, even though it was a race, but still it was.
Right. Well, like, did he just send them to the Void? A Void?
That's what it seemed to show, because they all went into the Void and
came back
together,
out, yeah. Which, it was crazy because it looked like while they were in the Void, at least, was it Elena? Once she broke free of, like, say, whatever was traumatizing her at that moment, there was another, like, barrier that she had to break through, and then another and another until they all found each other, which I guess it spoke volumes on how mentally strong they can be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, are they actually capable of, handling Avenger level type, threats?
Yeah. Like I said, I liked it, but the more, which I have seen it twice now and everything. And, even the more I think about it here, it does nowhere near come close to the, even Spider-Man because it's even like a lot of rehashed movie tropes from like they've already done in Marvel. Thunderbolts is just another version of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's these ragtag people that shouldn't be able to work together, that come together to defeat a big, overpowerful, villain, even though it turned out to be one of their friends that became the villain. But still, it's just... It could have been a lot more. It just really depends on what they're going with it, too, forward.
It seemed to me like the whole movie was... because Sentry and the other characters in the Thunderbolts, they all had to battle some type of, like, past trauma, depression,
right.
And it's like, I think that's what the whole point of the movie was, because I noticed like how gloomy the movie was.
Yeah, even the Marvel, where it flips through the logo, when it flips through all the different like comic book and the movies and stuff like that, that was all like grayed and black out.
Yeah, it was even darker and
right. Yeah, so I think it was more of like a gray scale throughout the movie and whatnot. So I think they were just really trying to set the tone of it being a little bit more grim, a little bit more dark, and
because like the first scene was what's her name, Yelena?
Yeah,
Yelena. The very first opening of the movie was her thinking about committing suicide on top of that building, and then she at the last minute she pulls her suit.
Yeah, basically having an existential crisis right from the start. Which
like
all of them, really. It does really reflect the inner demons people battle and deal with, and even Sentry himself's like a walking, euphemism for it of like letting the darkness creep over and take over you and everything else. So
how easy it can be. I mean, I guess that was a metaphor. She's literally on the edge. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she could just end it all right there. Which is crazy. I mean, because a lot of people battle that. I mean, there's been people who are on the edge of a freaking bridge, ready to jump off. Before having to be talked down and stuff. And who knows if that's somebody that you work with or that you know personally or whatever the case may be. We're all just struggling with inner demons, which is crazy,
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the void that they were in. Like we all have those rooms or whatever that we're in our minds just fighting, just trying to break free from. I know I do for the most part. I put a rubber band on my wrist so I can slap myself.
Back to reality,
yeah, because I can get in there, man. I was telling you one day, remember I said I was having trouble. I was lying in bed and I was just having all these negative thoughts, just like one after another. It just felt like somebody was just pounding me further and further down into the bed, and I just got to really just try to count my blessings and snap myself back out of it and really take a step back and look at the bigger picture, man. Look at what I have to be grateful for. I got a little kid who's, depending on me, got a wife who depends on me, friends who like being around and shit like that. So, just trying to really look at things, have a half full or half glass full mentality from here on out, at least for the most part. So, which I feel like it was fitting because like I just recently started seeing my therapist again, or a therapist again, and I really feel like I'm resonating with her quite a bit. Like I'm actually looking forward to talking with her the next time we have an appointment versus the other therapist I had. It kind of felt like a chore. Yeah. It really felt like a chore. Just oh man, it's been so many times I rescheduled, man. But I mean, I like that. Like they really hit hard with those messages. But I wonder what made them want to focus more on mental health and whatnot. Are we all more in a mental health crisis right now than we were, say 5-10 years ago? Or
it's probably a leading contributor to it, because it is a lot of mental health, a lot of diseases, a lot of everything else, and they kind of leaned onto all of it and throughout the movie and how different people handle and cope. And because each character had their own version of it too. You had Red Guardian is the guy that's depressed and down but runs around and tells everybody he's fine, oh man, I got this great job, everything's going great, when truth is he's living and
he's living in the past, because
like you said, not even wanting to get out of the bed. He's just laying on the couch watching soccer all day and
eating chips and shit, like House of Wreck, you know what I mean? Even when she comes into the house and he's like just throwing stuff over, over here and over there. I'm fine. Yeah, everything is good. I'm good. Still it's like it's clear that you're not.
Yeah, and then you even had Walker, I guess U.S. agent, Captain America.
Oh man, that was depressing.
Whatever. But he's like the guy that just runs around and you wouldn't know anything's wrong, because he even said, that we're like, you're married, and he's like, didn't say anything, but then to find out that his wife left, and took the kid away from him because he was stuck up on what could have been, but he's hiding it all from everybody else.
Yeah, like he was sitting in the room with this kid, kid crying and stuff like that, and he's just scrolling on his phone, just looking at the articles about, him, I guess, what he was,
right, which, that's what happens. Like you said in the movie, I'm a trained soldier, and you gave me the shield, like, that's all I know.
Yeah.
It's to kill. There's not, I'm not here to save. I'm here to end the threat and move on.
That's what else I liked, is when Sentry, when he touched
right,
John Walker, Valentina, you can actually see a flashback of their past trauma.
Right.
But yeah, like you said about John Walker, the U.S. agent, him had his best title being as Captain America, and he was so focused on that, he didn't care about his family.
I feel like there's a lot of maybe it's like what they're trying to say about a lot of people who are in the military or were in the military. They can come home and be detached from their family, because they're thinking about what happened overseas or whatever the case may be. They're just not right, And then
like life's not the same when you come down from the high of the military or the lifestyle, and where the only thing you really had to worry about is you and your squad, not just like
the
caring
mission.
about someone told you what to do every day.
I did notice, like, before the very end, his outfit was, kind of dusty. His shield was all dusty, and then like towards the end, when
like brand new,
when Valentina announced that the new Avengers, he had a brand new suit on. He had the beret hat.
Yeah, a better helmet, because they all make fun of the helmet throughout the movie.
Right,
which that goes back to the TV
but
series.
Wasn't he a beret though? Before Captain America?
I think so. I think it says
he was in the beret, right?
Yeah, that was his. He was a ranger, and they were the green beret. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah, but then because they made after the Winter Soldier, Captain America Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier, I guess. There was all the memes and stuff making fun of the helmet, because it kind of made him look like the grandpa off of Up, with the chin and everything else. Yeah, he even said he's even made comments about it. And then Yelena and them was like, he's like, you like the helmet, right? And they're like, yeah. And so it's nice at the very end, like you said, being in a beret instead of the helmet anymore, and it kind of gives him his own look.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. So what do y'all think about like Captain America starting his own Avengers versus them being the new Avengers? Like, what do you think that like conflict is going to be like?
It might start up like another version of Civil War.
That's what I was thinking.
You know what I mean?
Like, that's what I was
it
thinking.
could be like, I'm really a true Avenger. Like, Samuel Wilson, before he was Captain America, he was the Falcon. Since he was like an apprentice or whatever under
Steve Rogers.
Yeah, Steve Rogers. Like, I took the torch. So how are you gonna be the new Avengers when I'm the original Avengers?
Yeah.
So,
even in the Captain America most recent movie, Bucky even tells him, because the whole thought in his mind the whole movie is if I was a super soldier, and he's like, you're Captain America, and this is why Steve chose you. It's because you're the best of all of us. You train, you work your ass off to be this. Like you're the leader that we all need.
Yeah.
But now you basically have Bucky's in a new Avengers before Sam got his Avengers back up. So I could see like just conflict between those two that could lead to a civil war.
Yeah.
A more grounded version too, especially if you don't get all the supers.
Yeah.
It would. I would be interested to see what that looks like.
Oh yeah, and
just trying to figure out who we'd fill his roster with alone.
Right, exactly. That's what I want to say. Just wondering who Captain America is going to put on his team. I mean, it reminded me of Tony Stark coming in the bar at the end of the Edward Norton Hulk. So I'm looking to start a team. Yeah, it reminded me of that. And I was talking to you about it, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it to you about the Captain America seeming like the Hulk Part 2. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a sequel to the Hulk.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different like nuances that they implemented from the Hulk. The guy who was it the Thinker? Is that what he was?
Leader, I think.
The leader, yeah.
Thinker makes more sense with the big brain. But
right, yeah. Like he was from the first movie. They had Liv Tyler show up. I mean, they got the Red Hulk in there. They had like the ultrasonic cannons that they had from the original Edward Norton movie. I mean, there were so many different like nuances that they've like just thrown into it from the original Hulk that it really did kind of feel like the Hulk Part 2. But I mean, I didn't mind that at all because I really wanted more from that Hulk, that like universe from like Edward Norton, even though it is in the same universe, but it kind of feels different, so.
Yeah, that's one of the movies they could just keep making and I'd be happy with is Hulk.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Versions of Hulk and just having him because that's just one of the stories to me that never gets old, so.
Yeah, and it's just unfortunate that they've just, like, nerfed him, like, bad.
Yeah, which, like, we've talked about before, I really hope they use Secret Wars to take the nerf away.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's kind of like backhandedly what happens in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Is at the end of it, like through all the carnage and all the violence that happens on during Secret Wars, is Hulk gets his animalistic ability, thought process back, and there's no more Smart Hulk. He really goes
like a savage.
Back into a savage at the end of it. So,
well, I think you said, Malcolm, that there might be a possibility of making the World War Hulk.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
Well, I was explaining. I told him a while back, a week ago, how if you watched Thor Ragnarok, wasn't that
kind of
matched the comic book version?
Yeah, pretty close. And I thought that's what they were. I thought there was going to be more to it, but because they do, he's exiled to another planet because he's too destructive, which is kind of what happened. He took the ship and went to the, and that's how that happened. But I'd still think with now that you've introduced Red Hulk, you've got Abomination still floating around, even though She-Hulk is the last time we actually saw it. But you have all these iterations. It would be nice to just have them all, it could even be in Secret Wars, they send them all to one planet at the end of it because, the Beyonder, I think, is who's in charge of Secret Wars. But he has the power to send them all to their, separate universes. He can send all of them to one world. And they battle it out to see who the strongest is.
That will be cool.
I mean, just ways they could do it, I guess. Because
it'd be cool to see everybody battling. One of your favorite heroes that we've watched for 20 years at this point, just battling one another.
Yeah, it's the next two movies. I'm really excited to see what they do.
Yeah,
because there's so many rumors about what's coming up. Well, I say next to a movie, the two big Avenger movies.
Yeah.
But just all the rumors you hear, there's one today that said they're talking about bringing the Supreme Iron Man that they were going to do in Doctor Strange 2.
Supreme Iron Man. Is that Tom? What are you going to say? Tom Cruise is going to be that
That's
one?
exactly what they were saying, yeah. And then...
that'd be crazy.
Is he like all silver or something?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Like the robots that escorted Doctor Strange to see the Illuminati or whatever. And the Doctor Strange 2, those are the same type of robots that work for Supreme Iron Man. That's why everybody assumed that's who was going to be in the movie. And so
wasn't they like versions of Ultron or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then there's talk about bringing Ultron back. There's talk about just a lot of different things for the next two movies, which
I really think they should bring Ultron back because that just seemed way too easy for them to defeat Ultron. Like, as powerful as he is, I really don't believe that like they destroyed every trace of him.
And then, we'd mentioned like with the new Vision series coming up, that'd be a perfect way to bring him back, especially if Vision was Ultron and Ultron was Vision in a sense, then they could easily just bring him his essence back since Vision's kind of been rebooted into the White Vision.
Have you seen WandaVision?
I did.
Okay, cool. Because I asked him the question, like, when Vision, I guess, implanted all of his memories into like the White Vision, was that him like pretty much like putting himself into that body so that he can be a part of the world again, because he couldn't leave outside of he couldn't get outside of that dome without being destroyed. And so I think he like implanted his memories and everything into the White Vision for him to live on.
I don't think that was really him. I think that was just Scarlett's memories to recreate him to be a human.
But she like put all his memories into Vision somehow, some way, because I mean she's like reality altering, bending, and all that stuff or whatever. So she can pretty much do whatever she wants to do. And I think what she did was like recreated Vision, but he only existed in that dome.
Yeah.
And so like that copy of him he was fighting with, he did the thing where like he put his hands on each side of his head and implanted all his memories into that Vision, and he just flew off like.
Well, it was also like a lot of system overload, because even if you go when Vision was first created, I mean, he's like a new kid. And even that White Vision was like a new kid of like, the Visions start talking to each other and reasoning with each other. Same as when you talk to Ultron in the woods.
Right, yeah. He's like, well, I was just born yesterday.
Yeah. It's just like, he Vision's neither good nor evil. He's just kind of like reasonable. Like,
exactly.
he can be talked to and reasoned with, and that's where...
He's unbiased, basically. So...
So, there's a lot of possibilities with it, but...
Yeah, I really hope they bring Vision back. I really like Vision. My only problem was that, like, he went out too easy in Infinity War. You know what I mean? Just being stabbed with the scepter, which I know it made sense by that scepter, being able to prevent him from phasing and healing and all that stuff. But still, it's just way too easy.
Well, if they was to bring Vision back, wouldn't he still need the stone?
I don't know.
Can they bring it back without it?
I know they're having a Vision series, but I don't know what they're going to do or how they're going to do.
Okay.
Because you're right. He was nothing without the Yellowstone, whichever one that one was. I guess that was a reality stone.
Was that the Soul
Was it
Stone?
Mind Stone or Mind or Soul? One of the two.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was... Was it the one that was inside the...
I think the
box that Loki kept trying to steal?
I think the Tesseract.
Tesseract, yeah. So that would be the Mind Stone.
Let's see. Yeah, the Mind Stone.
Because the Soul Stone was the one they got for killing Black Widow.
Right. That was... What color was that one?
That
orange. Was it orange?
Purple, I thought, for the soul. Yellow was Mind.
I thought Power was purple.
Yes, you're right.
And I think like reality was red.
That's the ether or whatever.
Yeah, the ether, yeah. Which I need to go back and watch Dark World, because I never watched that. So
there was a blue one. I can't remember what the blue one was.
That was in Loki's scepter, wasn't it?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Yeah, it'd be one of those. Have to do a look and kind of figure it all out. But yeah, it's
right.
If you just go to Loki TV show, they're all just paperweights on the desk.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah. Like, we got a ton of these, The blue stone is the space stone.
Okay.
And the yellow is the mind, red is reality, orange is soul, green is time, and purple is power.
Right. Which he had already had the Space Stone anyway. That's why they never showed it get collected. He already had it in his gauntlet when he met him.
Right. Which, I don't know. Like I said, I really hope that they bring Vision back. I really do like him as a character. I like that he's Jarvis, just in a body, basically.
Yeah. But no, I'd like to see a lot of the supervillains get brought back for Secret Wars because you don't have enough right now as it is.
What villains would you like to see brought back?
Even a version of Thanos back.
Oh man, that'd be crazy.
Where he's not even worried about the Power Stones necessarily, but just the Thanos that is still a strong like Titan that destroyed Gamora's world and all these. There's still that version of the person out there. You just never really got to deal with him because he's always been hungry for the stones. But then you got Ultron, you got Doom. You're gonna need to fill up some villains if you're gonna have a Secret Wars because they gotta fight somebody.
Fantastic Four, their main villain was Galactus, wasn't it? So they might show that.
Galactus and Doom, yeah.
Okay. Which I know Galactus shows up because that's just his figure shows up over the city.
Yeah.
Oh my man.
No, it's good.
Yeah, I gotta glue that shit or get better chairs.
So I think even Galactus shows up in Secret Wars, so that's another possibility.
Or I think you mentioned with the multiverse involved. I think you mentioned like a Hydra Captain America.
Oh, Captain.
You know what I mean? Like they can bring good versions into evil versions of themselves.
Right. That could actually work. Yeah, bring Chris Evans back as Captain Hydra instead of Captain America. That'd be a good villain for them to put on that side.
Yeah. And
mix it up a little bit, especially with some of the ones that's been killed off.
Was Scarlett Johansson's name on one of the chairs? I couldn't remember.
Not for Doomsday, but they also said that that's not everybody, and that's not they're still wanting to leave stuff open for people not to get.
Damn, bro.
So it's which as we was talking about. I've watched some of the interviews of how they shoot the movies and how they do the things to keep some of the secrets in there. And it's just amazing the lengths they go through. Like at the end of Thunderbolts, they shot the scene where she comes out, introduces them to the reporters, and it's like the new Avengers. But the way they shot the scene was they come out, the reporters are there, and she said introduces them as the Thunderbolts. And the cheering and everything everybody does is to the Thunderbolts. And then a whole crew leaves, and they do the scene with nobody there and say the new Avengers, and they put the new Avengers version in there and let the crowd react to the new Avengers one. It's just different things like that. And they would get like a scripted day that had like watermarks on it that couldn't be copied or it'd go black. And each person's name was on the script. So if it ever got leaked, there's no doubt whose script it was.
Damn, that's crazy, bro. It's like they got people from like the CIA or FBI like working for them to give them these tips.
Well, somebody, it might have been Anthony Mackie talking about it, but like they have PAs assigned to each actor that has to get the script at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And he'd forgot about it and was just like walking to his trailer. He's like, she chased me down like it was a CIA agent to get the sheet from me for the day because like I was just taking it to my trailer because I wasn't even thinking about it.
Right. Damn, bro. They really.
But they have to turn them in each day so they don't get leaked out.
Man, this movie really has to be like all that. I mean, both movies really. I mean, goddamn.
Yeah, it's. And then where do we go from there?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Are they just like we mentioned? Is that going to be like the end of all the multiverse? You know what I mean? So that's what I'm wondering. And I mean, we still got Spider-Man's movie coming out, so I'm wondering what's going to happen in it essentially. So
I heard it's going to be. He's not in Doomsday, but his movie is going to be at the same time as Doomsday.
Oh, okay.
Where like it may even say things that's going on in Doomsday throughout the movie, but he's not in. Like he's battling his own thing in New York, kind of thing.
So
which nobody knows who he is because we erased everything, so he wouldn't be a part of the Avengers. Damn.
So he might see it on the news or something like that, like breaking news, this, that, and the other, which would be crazy.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all think about the end credits, like the Fantastic Four coming into the extraterrestrial
anomaly or whatever they call it?
Yeah.
I can't wait to see Fantastic Four to see with the tie-in and what's going on and why they're arriving.
Oh man, yeah. Because I feel like it's going to be so long that we gotta have to wait for Doomsday, and I think that's going to really build up that like anticipation, But I'm excited to see Galactus. I really want to see Galactus. I haven't watched the second Fantastic Four in a long time, but I'm just really excited to see Galactus, to be honest. And I think people are being too hard on the female Silver Surfer. Like they're even like talking about the fucking like the way she looks as far as like CGI almost. Like what? Come on, bro. Like nitpicking at this point.
Even with like as far as like you all did yours on Sinners, which was a great podcast, by the way.
Thanks, man. Thanks.
Man, don't knock it until you see it.
Right, exactly.
Sinners, everything was kind of being advertised as, if you've seen it, it was a horror movie about vampires, but it was so much deeper than that.
Right.
And then if you didn't watch it, you would have never saw the deep, complex story that was actually there about race and about all the different things that, the 7 deadly sins. There's so many different avenues to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And if you just go into it automatically, it's just another vampire movie, then you're.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid people does that with Marvel movies more than any movie right now.
Man, I swear. Like
superhero movies, because Superman's getting the same slack over like being, watch it and find out what happens. Don't just assume because you saw it in the trailer that you know exactly what's going on.
Yeah, they're purposely like they have to kind of like lead you astray a little bit, So whenever you go sit down in the theaters and you watch this movie, you're taken by surprise, Do
y'all remember? They didn't really have much to show on this one. Y'all remember when Doctor Strange trailer first came out? Like it wasn't. Well, okay, it has been a long time ago.
I remember, but I don't remember.
But it was very little.
Very vague.
I didn't know who this person was, what type of powers he was. Like, I think I remember the trailer just showing him through one of those like church glass or something,
like a stained glass window.
Stained glass, and that's pretty much all they had.
Yeah, they didn't go into hardly anything that happens in the movie. Is
right.
With him going to Cosmetol or whatever, and then learning the powers and stuff. Yeah, none of that was in the trailer. It was very cool. Broke down of just like, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
I appreciate that though, man, because I really think Doctor Strange was a good movie though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it helped.
I think that's what ruined the new Captain America movie, showing too much in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like I hated the fact you got to see Red Hawk before the movie came out.
Yeah.
I realized merchandise-wise they wanted to because they had the Hawk buckets and all the other stuff. But, man, the anticipation building throughout the movie, if I did, as a regular person not knowing that he was going to be in it and the excitement that would start building when you think you know what's going on. But to already know it, it was kind of like anticlimactic.
Right. And I think...
But if they left that out, would you have watched Captain America?
I think so, because I pulled up to the Falcon and Winter Soldier,
You could have built the trailer all around him going against Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah.
Which, even though he didn't really have a big role in the movie, you could have spun that to make it seem like he was the big bad.
People probably would have had an issue with that. Like, he wasn't in the movie like that.
It's exactly what they would have done, yeah.
Was that the guy with the... He was... the brain or whatever?
Giancarlo was the head of the Serpent Society.
He was like the Hispanic
very beginning people that Sam fought when he went down and they were in the church, and he was stealing the.
He was speaking Spanish and he was like telling them like I don't know if he was telling them to pray or whatever, but I forget because Sam ended up coming in and like saving them. Did he kill one of them though? I can't remember if he killed one of them.
I think he did at the very beginning when he's first talking in Spanish. I think he shoots one of them. But
probably have to go back and see it because he was added after the movie, right?
Yeah, he was all reshoots to add his scenes, but because
I think if they showed him just that, I think that would have downplayed his position. Like if he just going against like some terrorist group or whatever,
right,
like
right. You've got to build up.
Gave him something easy to do, as Captain America.
Yeah, that's true. But
is it the Thinker?
So it's Leader.
The Leader. I'm sorry.
Thinker was the one on the Flash.
Right. The Leader. I would have been cool to see him because seeing him return from art, because I've been waiting since the moment he got it hit in his head on the Hulk, to see what happened with him. So I think if they would have showed him in the trailer to make him seem like the big threat or the villain, I would have pulled up for that.
Not realizing that they were actually kind of on the same team when they broke it down at the end. Like,
right, yeah.
He wanted him to turn into the Hulk so you could see the monster he was, because what he did just felt like he wasn't really that much of a villain at the end of it. Like,
right, which I think that would have made sense though, because like since you would have came to see him, but then like he did this whole thing where he's been given Thunderbolt Ross those pills to become the Hulk,
right.
And then like that whole thing leading up to the Hulk, becoming the Red Hulk and all that shit, that would have been a great surprise in my opinion.
Yeah, but because they could have spun into the mind control aspect of it, showing the jet fighters firing on U.S. soldiers, or even talking about a race for the adamantium. Just all those small things could have.
And I think like it would have made sense, them spoiling the Red Hulk if he would have been in the movie a lot longer than what he was, because it was just like maybe 5 minutes. So, but I mean, I thought it was cool though.
I loved it, and I saw it regardless. But just as I missed the build up of not knowing.
Right. Yeah.
That's the kid in me though. Like we used to go to movies just like off the name alone.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't know much when we were kids watching a movie. You just
yeah. My mom would just take us and
I couldn't tell you one thing that happens in the Mortal Kombat trailer, the original Mortal Kombat. I just remember it was Mortal Kombat, so I wouldn't seen it.
I think I probably seen it like years later, because of YouTube. You know what I mean? So, man. So, I'm trying to look at some questions I got, because I mean we've just been kind of like just spitballing and shit like that. So would y'all watch it again though?
Nah, I wouldn't. Nah, I got what I got from it.
Okay, so. Yeah. Would you watch it again? Are you?
I watched it a second time, but that's because I bootlegged it at my house, and then I watched it to see if there's anything I missed.
Okay.
Just because I had the availability to just pull it up and see, but I was, with that being said, I was playing on my computer the whole time I was watching it.
Okay.
It's not like I was like doing a deep dive, couldn't miss a second of it.
Gave it your undivided attention.
Yeah, which there's small things I caught, like, the two Holocaust like shadows at the very beginning where Yelena's going into the very first place she goes into. There's actually the two shadows in the background where he killed them. Later on in the movie, you see him sitting in there. That's where where he jumps on top of him and starts beating him.
Yeah.
That's actually that scene, but you saw the two Holocaust shadows in the background. But it did, you don't know what they are at the time, but now second watching it, what they were.
Oh, shit.
Small things like that. And I wanted to, like, the lines about, I was on meth with fighting the chick and stuff like that. Small things I wanted to hear again, but it's not. Yeah, I'll add it to the collection, but I'll probably never watch it again.
Gotcha. So, did y'all notice any Easter eggs in the movie? Like, speaking of that, like the Holocaust and all that stuff, or anything else that you noticed from the movie as far as Easter eggs?
Nah, I didn't notice anything.
Yeah. No.
I know there's been
they didn't really even, because usually sometimes Marvel, like you said, they would talk about another part of something.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really say anything related to any other movie.
No, the only thing they said was like, when she stood up in the courtroom and talked about the president being arrested or going crazy and being arrested or whatever. That's her growing into a monster and being whatever she said. But like, yeah, there was nothing. Like, it was pretty much it could have been a standalone movie. You remove a couple of lines from the movie, it's a good standalone movie on its own.
Yeah.
I won't say I won't say it's an Easter egg, but the only thing I could think of was like the old Stark Tower, the Avengers Tower.
Yeah, that was
that's
cool.
the only thing I could think of that's probably close to an Easter egg. Like, 'cause I remember Valentina said something like, "This room brings a lot of memories," because from the other past movies. That's probably the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, but there was no like, not like some of the others have been, even like where you get a computer screen of other options for their squad or either the other people that was on her. There was nothing like that.
Wasn't it the same bar that Iron Man drank
I
from?
think so.
Like he was pouring himself a whiskey. Wasn't that the same bar, maybe?
I feel it.
Or did she like redesign the whole?
I want to say yes, but I feel like that's right where Hulk slam Loki.
Actually that would be, because it's the same outlook with the windows and stuff, because but the bars in there and everything else where you have the outlook, so that would be the same.
Okay. Because I think that's where like they were all hanging around in Age of Ultron whenever like, you know, they were kind of like celebrating, and then Ultron comes in the picture or whatnot, you know. So I think that's where they were hanging out. But other than that, I didn't really notice any Easter eggs either. But I did like the fact that, you know, she kind of set them up to go to the same place to either kill each other or be incinerated if, you know, whoever.
Yeah, like sent each one of them on a different mission to kill another one, so that way they'd all fight each, like, they were all there to fight a different target, but it was, you know, all of them,
Right. And I will say, I did not expect fucking Taskmaster getting killed like that, just right out the, I'm like, damn.
Like, I like the fact that it built up that anybody could get killed, and then it was like, you know, they're all killers. Like, drives that home. But I kind of want to see a movie where that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's another member of the group. Like,
I mean,
because Taskmaster is such a great character anyway. He literally mimics all their fighting styles.
I hear that like his banter and stuff like that is on par with like Deadpool. Like in the comic books, I hear like, you know, he's on par with Deadpool as far as like, you know, the jokes and shit that he makes.
Isn't Taskmaster a female?
In this movie, but in the comics, it's a male.
And on the comics, Deadpool's the only person that Taskmaster's afraid to fight.
Oh, damn.
Because he's so unorthodox in what he's going to do. You cannot predict what he's going to do because he's just all over the place.
Okay.
I just remember that from a Spider-Man episode, like Spider-Man and Deadpool episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Damn. No, yeah, man. I thought that was cool. And somebody else brought this up. Even though they have that whole background, like the new Avengers of we've all killed and stuff like that, like the regular Avengers have killed too. You know what I mean? Like all of them. You know, the Black Widow, you know, before she
was an assassin.
Yeah, exactly.
Clint Barton was an assassin.
Right. You know, Ronan, Hulk, whenever he goes on his rampage, I mean, he wakes up, you know, in different locations. Who knows what he's done, who he's killed, whatever. Fucking Iron Man, like before he became Iron Man, his weaponry was sold to, you know.
Yeah, they all had blood on their hands.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, they're basically like the new Avengers in the sense, you know. So, which I don't know about, you know, Sam. I don't know if he's had blood on his hands or not.
Well, he's in the military, so you know, there's always that possibility.
Right. So,
what do you want to see moving forward? Like, you want to bring back some of these characters in movies? Do you want to see them show up again, or you want them to just go a whole new direction in Phase 6 or whatever?
I think go a whole new direction. Yeah. I think something new, something fresh.
I think it'd be nice to just tie up all these old characters, and you don't have to revisit them. They could pop up maybe.
Right.
But, you know, we talked about it. It's been, 20 plus years?
Yeah.
Like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. was in his 40s, you know, when he started, 30s. Yeah. Now he's in his 50s and 60s. Like,
who was 25 when it first started?
Oh, yeah. Sebastian Stan was in his mid-20s. Now he's 43.
He has gray hair now.
Yeah.
like crazy to
these characters have been, you know, some of the newer ones I wouldn't mind necessarily seeing get brought back. Like, we was talking about the younger ones, like Haley Stanfield and some different people like that. Wouldn't be bad to have a movie with, but I'm ready to move on to X-Men. Give me about 10 years of some new X-Men.
Give them all their send-off, like, you know, Iron Man, like Captain America, like everybody has their nice little send-off. You know, Black Widow, she died, you know, all this shit.
Yeah, they all had a good send-off. Just figure out a way to do that and move on.
Yeah, I think people will accept that, you know, because, I mean, new is not always better, but sometimes it is, you know, so I'm ready for new Avengers or new heroes and whatnot.
Speaking of new heroes, you think, of course, we can still. You think Miss Marvel? She's relatively new, right? She hasn't been in the game for that long.
That's what we were talking about that the other day about the Young Avengers, because
not Miss Marvel. I meant to say Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I know.
Captain Marvel.
But
okay,
Miss Marvel too. Miss Marvel can be added on because I think she had a movie with Captain Marvel.
All the Marvels,
all the Marvels.
I haven't watched that either yet.
That, and then maybe they can add Moon Knight. Is it Moon Knight?
Moon
I don't know
Knight.
how that would tie in. But
So they have,
because he was kind of like a standalone show in a way, right?
What did I say? Man, I told you the other day. The creator of Sentry. Oh, the Midnight Suns.
Okay, yeah.
That was a comic that the creator of Sentry created, the Midnight Suns, and that's Blade, Moon Knight.
It had Wolverine, I think.
Man-Thing, I think Wolverine was in it at one point. Like
man.
The darker, bloodier, violent.
If
like,
they did that, bro, goddamn, that'd be so.
You could run a Midnight Suns with Blade and all them, and actually have a darker storylines and darker, Wolf by Midnight or whatever that was. Like that was all in the Midnight Sun. So that would be nice to run with that too.
It'd be cool to do that shit around Halloween and shit, man. And I really think Blade could just get his own show, man. Just chasing down vampire, this, that, and the other. I think he could just get his own show. I think people would pull up for that, for real. Just kind of.
Well, I don't know if he'd be a good add-on because really the only reason Blade exists is because he wants to kill vampires. I don't think he cares to save the world.
He's literally about vampires.
Right. Yeah. So to add him to the lineup, I don't know.
Well, that's why I was wondering. I mean, I guess now I'm wondering why they had him. I guess they're trying to make his own movie. I mean, trying to, because it's been in production for.
Yeah, they've had different writers and then different. I don't know what's wrong with it. Like,
I swear, man,
it just seems like it's so easy on paper just to make it happen. So I don't know what the problem is.
And it sucks.
Like all you've gotten so far of him is in the Eternals. You got his voice.
Right. Don't even show him, man. And it sucks because they got all these other movies that came out since then and nothing on Blade, man. Like, how hard is it to write a vampire movie?
Oh, I forgot. They can add Shang-Chi in there.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, you're right.
Shang-Chi. And what's the other movie they try to make? Man, I don't think they had what's their powers?
The Inhumans.
Was it the
TV show that was man?
Oh no, it was
Black Bolt got killed in Doctor Strange. I was happy about that.
It was that bad?
That's when the
I just didn't watch it.
What's that one? The big statue that's supposed to come out the ground?
No, that was from the Eternals. Yeah,
Eternals. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. They might come back. I don't know, but
they could always and that's a movie that got shit on that shouldn't have. You go back and watch it; it's not bad.
Right.
And that's one of they could have set up for a few movies off of it and done a lot of things with it, and it was just one and done because everybody shit on it with a female director and saying it was woke and all the other crap. And it's like,
that's crazy, man. I thought they did a pretty good job with the scaling for the Celestial, like how it pulled them from Earth and it's like talking to them like that. That gave me chills.
Yeah,
man. Its voice had like a rumble
to show how
it.
big it actually is.
Yeah. And who knows if it's scaled down just to kind of to put it in perspective for them.
Well, and that's like even go Guardians of the Galaxy. That whole city is literally inside just the head of a Celestial.
Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, there's so many cool things they can pull from. You just have to have the right story to pull it from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, I'd love to see Shang-Chi and some of them come. Which he's going to be in Doomsday, but his name was on one of the chairs.
Okay, I was going to say because when did that movie come out? What, 2022, 2023?
It's been the past couple of years.
Yeah, because I feel like just nothing from him or about him.
It's almost like they got too overwhelmed. It's like we're trying to make too many projects.
Damn, that movie came out in 2021.
It's been that long.
It's been that long. God damn, bro.
And I guess all he's done since then is what was the end of
wasn't he in a Barbie movie? I think I heard.
He was in a Barbie movie.
Yeah.
I ain't seen that one.
I blame that on my daughter, even though I don't think she's seen it. No, she's seen it. But yeah, he is. He's in that movie. But I was thinking he was an end scene of one of the Marvel movies since then, but it hasn't been much.
Which movie?
That's why I can't think. So it may not even happen.
Well, I do think that they're gonna. Well, you just said that his name was on one of the chairs, but they had a handful of the Avengers watching the Thunderbolts. Kind of like a promo thing, like them telling everybody to go see the movie, and he was part of the group. You know what I mean? Anthony Mackie, Chris Evans, Robert Downey, Chris Hemsworth, and a couple other people, but also he was there as well. So I feel like he's gonna be a part of something bigger, I guess.
Yeah, which I do know they're going to be pulling from the Loki TV series too for Doomsday because Owen Wilson and Loki are both in it too.
Right, yeah.
I guess Morpheus or Mobius. Or...
Yeah.
You think Thor will be in it? Because I think last time he retired.
Yeah, he was all fighting battles with his daughter in Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I think he'll be a new Asgard now.
Yeah.
I think he will be, but I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be done or not afterwards. Hope not, because I do like seeing Thor. But I mean, if they're gonna have to make way for new heroes and whatnot, then he's probably. I mean, he's been in it for just as long as Robert Downey has been too.
It'd be nice if they could throw in, which I don't want to rush the Avengers by any means, but give about a good 5-year run of the Avengers and then of X-Men. Good 5 years of them, and then do an X-Men versus Avengers movie.
Dang, that'd be sick.
Where they got to, for whatever reason, pit them against each other.
That would be sick.
But, I mean, time's running out on actors. They don't. It's not like the comics where you can write them forever.
Yeah, no, because, I mean, a lot of them are, 20 years older.
I mean, well, that's even happened with Harrison Ford. You had to recast him, and then now. Man. What's your thoughts on Harrison Ford taking over? We both talked about, man, it's awesome to see him, but at the same time,
he's really old.
He's really old. Like, how much more can you do with Red Hulk?
He's old as hell.
Because, I mean, if you're going to bring Red Hulk back to these other Avenger movies,
you got to start making them. Film his scenes now.
Yeah. Film his part and somehow add it in. So.
Yeah, man. Shoot. Get him his fiber, Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's what I'm worried. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, but I mean, he did look good as the Red Hulk. 'Cause, I mean, you can see Harrison Ford as the.
They did a good job.
Well, they can always CGI just Red Hulk by himself.
Like, he don't transform anymore.
He don't show his real self. You know what I mean? Just the Red Hulk comes in, do what he does, and that's it. So.
That'd be a good. That's a good point. Which I think that's probably what they might do. I don't know.
Just the monster takes over, and you don't see the man anymore, and you can still go with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But was he more like, I guess, smarter than the Hulk, but not like smarter than like Bruce Banner in a sense, but like he was able to like actually like talk, you know what I mean? Not like dumb, I don't say dumb like the Hulk talks, but not like a child in a sense. I feel like he's always been able to.
At least he was portrayed that way, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna add something. I think it was what's the one before? Is it Ragnarok or before that one? When I think it was Ragnarok when Hulk was fighting Cerberus.
Yeah, that was Ragnarok.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he not allowed to change back to human form? Because I remember he said something about this is my last time that I can change back. So he's like Hulk forever now.
I think maybe him and Hulk made a deal.
Because now, like, he made, like you said, he made a deal to where he's like, you can see
the smart Hulk.
Yeah, mixed in.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But yeah, Ragnarok's the last time we've seen. Well, no, I guess beginning of Infinity War you saw Hulk.
Yeah.
But I want my Hulk back. I want my Hulk to look like the Red Hulk.
Okay.
I want to see him jump from the White House all the way to the Washington Monument and just tear up the ground when he's running, pick up tanks and throw them. I don't want to see him making potions and being only about 6 foot tall, 7 foot tall.
Yeah. Man,
you think they're gonna add what? Did you watch She-Hulk?
Yeah, I did.
You think they're gonna add his son somewhere in there?
Well, we like that. That would have been a good place for him to have like the World War Hulk.
Yeah.
Where they like straighten them all on there, and he's lived there for a while, and that's why they're so battle torn. That's they always do these fights where there's been a lot to go with that, but I don't know. I mean, hell, that could even be a Young Avengers thing.
Yeah. It looks weird because when I saw him, he looks more human-like, so to speak. But I saw the comic book version of his son. He's looked very barbaric.
Yeah.
But when I saw him on She-Hulk, I'm like, that's his son.
Well, I was wondering because like the haircut he had, that was strange,
Yeah, like half his head was bald.
Kind of maybe like this is like a foreign type of haircut or hairstyle or something like that. So, and he did seem kind of like he was being tamed, like he had to be worked with in order to be able to be there, being introduced as his son. Like he probably just, I mean, I'm sure he's not used to Earth's customs, but he just seemed like he was just more tamed, like a child or a dog or something like that in a sense. So maybe, I don't know, but I really think that maybe he could be the catalyst for the Hulk becoming, world breaker.
I can't remember the name of the planet that he was on, but
is it Sakaar?
Sakaar?
Yeah, it is Sakaar.
But they never explained his love interest. Like, did he even? They never talk about his wife, like who he hooked up with or anything.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe like eventually they were going to go, at some point, to him being on that planet, So,
I mean, they could always do a flashback somehow,
right?
That could work.
Yeah, you could. I mean, you could do a whole flashback movie. I'd be fine with it.
Yeah. I think that would be fun. I think that would be fun, to be honest.
Yeah, because you could go. I mean, you could say that's how his son was born. You could go to have World War Hulk, but then you just got the waste of that Smart Hulk stuff, man. I don't know why it bothers me so much, but it just
with the Smart Hulk.
Yeah,
because I mean,
it was cool for the scene.
Yeah,
but like they needed the Hulk during a I realized he got hurt because he did the snap, and that's what took him out of the fight.
Right.
But still, they could have I
don't know, because
I wanted to see that rematch between Hulk and Thanos.
I think everybody
where he's
did.
No longer scared, and they go man to man, and that should have been the scene where Miss Marvel came in. That should have been the Hulk fighting him, and they got shot on. That's why he couldn't beat him.
Right.
But just to show that he is stronger.
Yeah, because I don't know. Has the Hulk ever really been knocked out like that? Because, I mean, I would just think that, with him getting angrier and angrier because, he's not able to, say, defeat Thanos right off the bat. Which I know Thanos pretty much ended him right then and there, or did whatever he had to, shut him down right then and there, because the longer the battle would have gone on, the stronger he would have became, and the harder he would have been able to, I guess tame the Hulk, but it just I don't know, it just didn't sit right with me that he was just taken out that easily, whether it is Thanos or anybody else.
Yeah, Marvel doesn't drop the ball a lot, but there's definitely been sometimes they just kind of overthought themselves. With what was it the Nick Fury series, that could have been so much better. Just different. I mean, you barely even to be honest, I have not even finished that series.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Because I don't even know the name of it right off the top of my head now.
I think it was something about
Secret Invasion.
It's something about the Skrulls. Yeah. He made a deal to bring him to Earth.
Yeah, which is what happened at the end of one of the movies, but still, so the Secret Invasion in the comics is Captain America wasn't Captain America. He was a Skrull.
Right.
And you wouldn't know who was who. And you had all these big names that were Skrulls, and it could have been a lot more. And I think the only big name in the whole movie or show that way was, I think the War Machine, I think they said was a Skrull. But with no big names crossing over into the show, it was just kind of weird. And then talk about overpowered battle at the end, the two Skrulls fighting with all the Avenger powers, and just, it was weird. But, and then like I said, I wanted to see the Hulk, and you've nerfed him so bad, and
yeah, I don't know if they maybe were trying to do it justice by bringing in the Red Hulk, but still, it's nothing like I was explaining the other day. I watched Age of Ultron, and seeing the Hulk in that was great, man. For real. And how she's doing the whole, the sun's going down, big guy, and it's just he seemed like a little kid, no. Age of Ultron is a really good movie.
It's one of the better Avengers movies. Well, it's one of the better in the whole series, but
yeah, I think so as well. I haven't watched the original Avengers in a while. But I do remember, man, that trailer, that first trailer I saw where Iron Man was saying like, I'm bringing a party to you, and he flew around that building, and that fucking
the whole squad behind it.
Yeah, that serpent thing just came out of around following him. Man, I remember me and my manager was watching that trailer, and we was like, "What the fuck?"
Even that
so
Hulk
cool.
is badass. To
Yeah,
say, you know,
yeah. Because when they
what's
like,
your secret? And I'm always angry, and he just morphs while punching.
yeah, that was a dope scene, man. That was like a memorable scene that I don't know if they might be able to recreate something like that, maybe do it better, but I don't know. That was pretty legit.
It's come a long way.
Right. So, going back to the Thunderbolts, though, like, was there any moments in a movie that like made you connect with any of the characters or any of the situations they were in or talking about?
I say, uh, I don't know if I can relate, but like I can just understand what Sentry, when he was like in the house and he can peek through the floor and he can see his past memory of like how his family was treating him.
Right.
Just letting him know that he was worthless, and I think that's why he was battling the most. He just need like. That's why Valentina was like encouraging him to to be Sentry.
Right.
So,
yeah, it was almost came off as motherly. Like he didn't have a family growing up, and that like she brought him in as a mother and as a like caring figure in his life, and that's why it was so easy to manipulate into doing what she wanted. Because yeah, like he said,
because didn't he say he was like every time he's around, he feel like he's always messing up something?
Yeah. Which I think a lot of people probably feel like that, just kind of feel like.
Yeah, I was gonna say that out of all the characters I related with most with that.
Yeah, that's probably the only thing I can relate to. Like if you feel like if you're around family or friends, you're like, do you feel like you have a purpose there?
Like you feel like there's like expectations of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've ever felt like my family had expectations on me, I guess. But I do feel like, I don't know, I've let my mom down a few times not doing some things. Like I didn't graduate high school and all that stuff. And I get to see her whenever she talks about it that, she wish I did. But I mean, I was, again, battling my own demons even back then. You know what I mean? So, and still kind of like suffering the repercussions from that. So, hence why I'm back in therapy and shit, man. So, but
yeah, that's overall one of the things about Thunderbolts is there was nothing like memorable coming out of it. There was no oh shit moments.
Yeah,
there was nothing like amazing. It was just a movie. Yeah. Not a bad movie. It's a good movie, got good humor and everything else, but it wasn't like there's nothing that draws you back to I got to see that again.
Right. Which I feel like I get the point that we're making about her jumping off the building, but it didn't seem like the second tallest building in the world. You know
I didn't even know it was until you start hearing the stories.
Yeah, exactly. It was just over just like that. I don't know how long it takes to fall from the building like that, but I feel like they could have sat in that moment a little bit more. Just showed like the actual scale of the building, and then it would have been cool if they showed from the ground up, and then they did like a flash forward, like going all the way up to the top of the building, and then she's up there, and then would have started that inner monologue, and then
or even have the monologue while you're scaling up the building to see how tall it is.
Exactly, yeah. I think that would have been a cool, portrayal of how, or not portrayal, but just just showing you how big the building is. Because then you seeing her jump off, you're like, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like that would have been crazy. Because I have a fear of heights, and I think that would have helped, set in that fear for a lot of people.
Yeah, when you could have, like you said, you could have held on to her falling for a little bit, and then it'd be like, well, it's time to go to work, and that's when she throws the parachute and goes through the window or whatever, just kind of to build off of it. Which,
yeah,
I mean, where she jumped off and where she threw the parachute, and then when she lets the bomb off, it's like, oh, this was only like 15 floors up. It wasn't even that high when she blew it.
I know, man. It was
Why
crazy.
did she have to go to the very top of the building and jump off?
Man, it was so quick. For all I know, they're lying.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So like anything else about the Thunderbolts? Like that y'all are, I don't know, want to talk about as far as like I do want to see more of the Void. I want to see more of the Void as well as the Sentry, and I'm wanting to see how they're gonna I don't know, how he's gonna be needed in the New Avengers. I guess maybe if they're doing their Civil War, who would he fight? If they're gonna do a Civil War against Captain America's Avengers.
Right. Well, I mean, his character would be nice to be like we kind of talked about it with the Superman, where you finally have to pull in no matter like how dangerous it could be. He finally has to step up and fight. Like that's what I want to see.
Oh yeah.
Where it's so dangerous that he finally has to step in and has to come out of that comfort zone, no matter what the risk is, because just a normal fight, like even against a super soldier, it's not really like Captain America is badass as he is. He doesn't really just, to me, scream, I need the strongest person in the universe to step into the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But then if we do Avenger versus Avenger and Captain Marvel's on the other scene, then you're gonna need somebody to match power with.
That would be a good fight. That'd be a good fight.
I did notice like when the Void revealed himself, and the scene where like the building was falling, and then like the Red Guardian saved that little girl, and then he's like, "You're saved," and all of a sudden, she like poofed into her little shadow.
Yeah.
It reminded me of like, you ever heard that story about? I think it was Hiroshima, where like the blast was like so strong it just evaporated, but like their shadow was like on the ground. That's what exactly it looked like to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like, okay, but they weren't necessarily dead.
Right.
They were just in the void.
Yeah, probably like going through the same thing that, the Thunderbolts were going through, just living, traumatic scenes. I mean, it makes you wonder what that little girl was like going through,
Yeah, but like, to me, that almost, I'm not going to say it doesn't make him as dangerous, but there's something to that, like, oh, well, then all you got to do is just get to him and talk to him and everything gets reversed. Like, I'd kind of see like a destructive version where it's like literally like they're just gone.
Yeah.
Like a snap version of like he could just snap people out of existence.
Exactly. Like, they would have had like, could have set something up for them trying to figure out how to get it back.
Yeah.
Because maybe he, would have reverted back to Bob even, and they got to get to the Sentry to get to the Void to bring the people back. You know what I mean? So
I do love how even with that, like he has no memory of being the Sentry or the Void at the very end.
Right. Yeah.
Because even when they announced the new Avengers, he kind of looks around, like takes a step back, starts clapping for him. He's like, it's obviously not me. I'm just a normal guy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I did like you said, he can just snap right out of it. I noticed when the part where he was like on top of himself, beating up the Void, and then he was slowly consuming himself.
Yeah.
And like when everybody was like hugging him, you know what I mean? Like that's all you need is like comfort to get yourself back.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, it was definitely a deeper meaning.
There was a deeper meaning to that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. I've been there, man. Like
that's the whole Jedi, man. Don't let the darkness consume you, and anger gives into hate, and hate gives into the dark side, and or hate gives into fear. I think then fear gives the dark side.
Yeah. I think it's fear then hate because
there's 3 steps. But
because he was fearful that she was going to die, and so he was doing everything to prevent her death because he kept seeing those having those dreams or visions or whatever. And that hate, or that led into hate because he was, so hateful of the fact that people were telling him that, he shouldn't, I guess really be in love. Like Jedi shouldn't have, emotional attachments to anything or anyone. And so just like a lot of the things that like he's experienced with the Jedi Council and, that grew that hatred and whatnot. And that led into him being, I guess consumed by the the darkness, I guess. but yeah.
Do you think? I think at the very end of the movie credit, when it said that the Thunderbolts and Bob will be back.
Yeah.
Do you think Bob will be an asset to the other movies? Because like, if he can't control himself, how would he help fight off in the other Avenger movies? Because if he's scared to turn to Sentry because Void might eventually take over, like, how are they gonna be able to control him?
Kind of like another Hulk situation,
right?
Where...
It almost comes off as like, man, I hate to say it, especially with that power, but like, he's the comic relief because it's kind of what he was the whole movie.
Yeah.
Until he takes over as Sentry and the Voice, it's comic relief. So I don't really see where he plays into everything. Like, that's just, I don't know, man. It's tough because in the comics, you can have your own run. You can have your own series. You can have people duck in and out or whatever, but it's focused on him and the Void and stuff. But like in the cinematic universe, you don't need to tie all these things together sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it's just nice to have it as a standalone and move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, I mean, even this movie would have been fine without a superhero. Like, outside, like you said, honestly, outside of being super soldiers, what are they? Nobody's flying. Nobody's got special, weapons or abilities. It's even, even the shield for U.S. agents, just a normal shield. Like,
well, yeah,
what was his shield?
Well, whatever. It's a taco shield now. But,
I'm joking.
But yeah, so, that could have been just a regular movie.
Was it made the same material as Captain America's shield?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because Black Panther was trying to get back Captain America's shield because, it's made of vibranium. And so it's like they are aware of every, trace of vibranium.
Well, yeah, because Falcon and Winter Soldier was, not to think the timeline matters, but Falcon and Winter Soldier was before Black Panther 2, and Black Panther 2 was all about them not giving their vibranium to anybody else in the world.
Right.
So Captain America's shield would be one of a kind.
Right, yeah.
Well, John Walker did have it at one point.
Right, and that's what Sam has
They took
now.
it back and then gave it to Sam, but how did he get that shield?
Guess
like, who made that for him?
Probably Valentina.
Okay.
Yeah, because Valentina actually, when he gets court-martialed and stripped of, his Captain America title in the courtroom, when he walks out, that's when Valentina's first introduced.
Mm-hmm.
He's sitting in the courtroom, and she walks over and sits next to him. And she's like, I'm putting together a team or something like that. And that's what this is led up to be.
Oh, shit. So, do you think, did we talk about this? Sam potentially getting adamantium added to his suit? Because he said that he's going to need a new suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's going to need upgrades.
Yeah.
Well, his whole suit got destroyed. So
yeah. So, I mean, either, more vibranium or just like a different type of suit, make it look a little different, or...
I think he did. Because I think his wing... Because remember, he was getting attacked and he was able to absorb all the hits?
Yeah.
And he,
well, yeah, he had vibranium in that suit, but at the end, the Hulk actually ripped off his wings at the very end of the battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Okay.
So, so his next suit could be even upgraded even further.
He just had to go back to Wakanda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Which that's Namora and them's even coming back in. Because I know his name was on one of the seats for Doomsday.
Right,
so.
yeah.
I mean, he knows where to find it. Because wasn't he... Because I know Wakanda, they're in this force field.
Yeah, there's only a few people that knew how to get there.
So...
I mean, Bucky, because he was there for a while.
White Wolf, briefly.
Yeah. He stayed there. They actually cured him from his...
I think he's been in the most movies.
Yeah.
There's 12 movies or something that he's been in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really like Bucky, man. He was a really good villain in The Winter Soldier, man.
It was a
good villain.
And that was a good storyline too, because there was no tease, there was no nothing, it was just bam, he's back. And
well, at the end when they were I think when they're in the house and Bucky's like, "Oh, I'm really good. I'm gonna know past trauma." Remember that part?
Yeah.
But that's a lie though, because technically he was a Winter Soldier. Then he go through therapy because he felt bad he was a Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
So technically that would be his past trauma, wouldn't it?
He's got it too. Yeah.
I think it's.
But he tried to say, "Oh, I had a good life." I'm like, nah.
I mean, I think it's probably just we say all three of us do have some sort of like traumatic, past or whatever. Two of us can like actually, be vulnerable about that, but there's probably going to be somebody like Bucky who's just like, no, I'm good,
Or he's come to peace with it.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah, because he has. I think they showed him going through therapy, so he probably.
Actually, I think during Winter Soldier he was in therapy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I got to go back and watch that too. Which I want to go back and watch them all in like chronological order because I feel like it's quite a bit.
Reabsorb it all. Yeah, 35 movies.
Yeah, 35 fucking movies, bro. Yeah, and that's probably going to take me a few months. You know what I mean, with my fucking schedule, man.
I said, and then we're about, like I said, starting about a whole brand new series and a whole brand new everything. And
yeah, which I think it'll be fun though. I was actually surprised with WandaVision, even though a lot of people were telling me how good it was. I just had to get out of that black and white phase, man. But I got to see Agatha, which I think I'm going to wait for Agatha. And like I said, I'm just going to go back to Iron Man and then just go straight.
And when you get to it, then.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Like I said, I watched it. It was just it's definitely a sequel series.
Yeah.
Continuation. Okay. And it even leaves open-ended of is there going to be more. But they don't really go into which direction it will go.
Okay.
Which I think it could actually lead to Young Avengers on that too.
Oh, okay, cool. Man.
But
I like that they're being secretive, with a lot of stuff. But at the same time, it's just like, goddamn, I wish we knew,
Well, and then even like with the Thunderbolts and Bob will return, don't give me a guarantees. You don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
In the Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Star-Lord will return. That doesn't have to. James Gunn's gone from the series. Like, he don't,
Yeah.
Which I'm excited for the DC universe.
Oh, man.
Just for what he's capable of movie-wise. And then...
Are you talking about the new Superman?
Because James Gunn's in charge of the whole series now. He's in charge of all DC for the Warner Brothers movies and stuff.
Okay. Yeah, they just announced Peacemaker Season 2. Have you watched the Peacemaker at all?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and he's done Superman. Supergirl just finished filming.
Oh, damn.
And I mean, he did Creature Commandos already, a cartoon version for it on HBO. Like, he's already shot like 4 things in just a year, just rolling them out. And like,
does he sleep?
I don't know how he does it. Yeah,
sure, man. He's
but but Peacekeeper 2's done, Creature Commandos done, Superman and Supergirl's all been filmed. Plus, he's starting on Lanterns now.
And isn't he looking for a Batman too, though?
Yeah, and they're talking about what they're going to do with Batman. But his Green Lantern's going to be a series on Max, I think.
Oh, that's going to be so cool, man. I would love to see it.
And it's tiring like all lanterns. It's not just going to be a single lantern.
Like the Lantern Corps?
Yes. Actually, I think it's called Lantern Corps, to be honest. Or Lanterns.
It's going to be sick, dude. Oh, it's going to be sick. So, where do you think they might go with the whole Batman? If they're going like All-Star Superman, right? What do you think they might... What angle do you think they're going to go with Batman?
That's a good question.
Because it's crazy that like you were just over was it Sunday,
so
and I forget what I've like mentioned, but was I talking to you about like what somebody felt that Ben Affleck's Batman that he was right was going to be?
Where he was going to
like Deathstroke was going to be the main villain, and so Deathstroke was going to basically just break Batman, like not physically, but mentally and psychologically, like take away all of his money, take away like everything, like even potentially, not potentially, but kill Alfred, because that's like the one thing that like he holds dearest to him at the moment, because Robin's already been killed in that universe because the Joker killed him, and also I think Deathstroke's son was probably killed by Batman because during the whole Zack Snyder Superman going rogue and like what do you call that? What's that? Injustice Superman, basically. He probably started killing and ended up killing Deathstroke's son, so Deathstroke wanted him to feel the same pain that he felt by killing Alfred. So Just that type of dark, Batman story.
How old is Alfred? He's gotta be old.
Every bit of 200.
Does he age he's just old forever?
Yeah,
I've been sitting on the question while you were talking and just thinking about it. I would like to see them bring Batman in as still have Jason Todd be Robin, and he's still in like the height of his, just Batman, just kind of like we used to talk about the other Batman, just mix him right in with the Superman, which is a lighter universe, maybe not as dark as the Snyderverse and everything else, and then have his, maybe even mix him in with a Superman. Then when he has a standalone movie, have it lead to Joker killing Jason Todd, and then turning him darker, and then you could even have a Red Hood storyline come in down the line, and just you could build on that's the reason you turn him even darker compared to the campy version.
Wouldn't you want to eventually? I mean, we've seen plenty of Batman Robin movies. Should we start bringing in Nightwing now? Should that be a turn point?
And that could be even the standard right there too. Right. Nightwing's in the back, saying, why you need him. You got me, you had me. Right. Now you wanted somebody else. But yeah, Nightwing's not. Teen Titans was a good show.
I thought so too. Yeah. Are you talking about the animated series?
Well, the animated is real good, but the Titans TV show was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah.
I love Teen Titans.
Because you mentioned Red Hood. Didn't they have Batgirl? What's that one video game that I played?
Arkham Knight.
I think it was Arkham Knights.
One of the Arkham. I was going to say Arkham Knights. Arkham Knights was the last one. I think.
Yeah, which I wasn't impressed with that. It just didn't feel the same as the other Arkham games. You know what I mean?
Well, it's almost like they just stuck to what they had for Arkham Asylum and just never even grew with it.
I mean that fight scene, the cut scene at the beginning with Batman and Ra's al Ghul was dope, was fire. But after that, it's just
there's storylines with Batman that hasn't been touched that could be, which I still think if Zack Snyder had a shot, he should have made the Batman Beyond. And let Michael Keaton teach a whole new Batman the ropes.
That I really feel like that could be a series, though. You know what I mean? I really think that could be a TV show. I know I keep saying TV show, but stuff like that, I think could be a TV show.
But we're done, man. That's why I need a new one. The Arrowverse is done, and
because they just
Superman and Lois was the last one, and
damn, they just
now for the first time, and I don't know how many years we're comic bookless on TV.
Damn, they just wrapped that shit up, man. Man,
all because the CW went in a new direction.
Man, I remember just I cleared my schedule for The Flash. You could not get me to do shit when The Flash came on, bro. I'm not even joking. My wife come in, hey, we're about to go. Nope, Flash is on. Sorry. Yeah, that's crazy. Because that came out back in what when did that start? Do you know?
Now I'm talking about because Arrow was first,
right? But I'm excited about the Green Lantern, show. Because I seen a picture of the guys playing Jon Stewart walking next to the guys playing Hal Jordan. Yeah, so that looks cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say it started in 2012 with Arrow, so past 13 years, we've had the Arrowverse of some sort.
Yeah. Which is, it's just, man, it's so crazy.
And honestly, the only reason they did Superman and Lois because Zack Snyder got fired.
Oh, damn.
It was Tyler, the guy that plays Superman, was interviewing. He was only allowed to do a 2-episode arc. DC allowed it to happen because they had the movies, but they're like, we'll let you do this. And then since the Zack Snyder stuff, they were like, you know what? If you don't want to make a series, go ahead.
Wow.
So it just carried over to him just continuing a role that he was not even supposed to get.
Yeah. Well, I guess the CW or the CW Arrowverse has been going on since 2014. Well, no, because
Arrow started in 12. So 13 years worth of comic books on TV, and it ends.
So do you feel like Arrow was more Arrow, or do you feel like he's more like Batman? because he had that whole training with Ra's al Ghul, Deathstroke, all that shit.
I think it was we couldn't use Batman, so we're going to take the millionaire, playboy and take some of that and put a shit towards Arrow.
Right. Yeah.
You even had Deathstroke as the main villain for the first couple seasons, and
and Red Arrow was kind of like his Robin, essentially. So
I mean, it's no different than in the comic, but they definitely pushed it as more of a Batman type.
Mm-hmm.
Even as Batcave, Arrow Cave, like
yeah. But yeah, it was good though.
No, it was. I was highly entertaining, and he hasn't seemed to. I mean, Hills only lasted 2 seasons, and then his Suits show just got canceled, so it only lasted 1. So I'd actually be interested in seeing James Gunn cast him and Grant Gustin back into the movie universe.
Oh, that would be so cool. Yeah, Grant Gustin was
providing he wants to, because he is the Flash. But
I think he's like the definitive Flash for me.
He fit the role perfectly.
He did, man. Which I did like when what's his name, Eddie, when he had the suit on. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I can see him as the Flash, because I feel like in like the comic book adaptations, like he was blonde rather than like brunette, I guess. Which I don't know if I really ever considered a male as a brunette.
Yeah, it's the first time I've heard that, but it's all right.
Oh shit. Yeah. So like anything you excited to see as far as like any type of movie really?
I'll say that's how we finished the other nights. Any movies at all coming up for you? Or that you would love to see brought to the screen?
Well, I was thinking, like, since we did get introduced to Sentry, I wonder what other new characters they might show us. That might follow with the comics, with the timeline that we have now and the movies. So that's what I was just curious about, really.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't feel like Sentry is really going to play a huge part if he's still battling his mental state. Like,
right.
So we're gonna need someone. We need another ace.
There's so many options, and even past options I'd love to see brought back. Bring Ghost Rider back to the screen.
Man. He's an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., but
he
a different
was.
one.
That was the. Can't remember his name, but
yeah.
But yeah, there's so the character lineup in Marvel is so deep.
Right. He would be. I guess, was he a part of Midnight Suns?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was gonna say. Which again, that would be really cool. They just did a Midnight Suns, because Ghost Rider is probably one of like the more powerful anti-heroes, I guess.
Yeah.
Or just in general, really. Like he's super like OP. Like, it's crazy.
Adam Warlock would be a good one to keep around and bring kind of,
because it was like a one and done with the Guardians, wasn't he?
To grow with that, especially with somebody powerful, like.
Yeah, because they made him the comic relief of that movie, which that's not what I was expecting.
He was powerful, but just comic relief of it though. Yeah.
Which James Gunn did a really good job with Guardians, man. Especially the last one. I felt more emotionally like invested in the third Guardians than I did with this movie.
I was getting choked up by CGI animals.
Yeah, man.
Like I was invested in animals that just didn't even exist on screen, and I was like,
when like Rocky came back from like that procedure, and like the first word he said was like "hurts." I was like, "Oh God." Yeah." I was like, "No, why'd y'all do that to him?" Man, that hurt me, man. So that was a really good movie, man. And so that's why I really have faith in James Gunn. Like, I'm not like questioning it at all.
It's just that blind faith type thing.
Oh yeah. I feel like he's going to bed like happy. Like he's getting.
And he does ensemble without any one person feeling like they were the star too. Like just being able to meld everybody together where it just like flows. Because you would think like Star-Lord would be the leader, but like any one of those characters could, even like Mantis and stuff, any one of them could be considered at any given time the star of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You think maybe a standalone Rocket and Groot movie?
I'd be there for that.
That would be cool.
Well, they even had their kind of whole new Guardians of the Galaxy they could go forward with. At the end of 3, they had the scene where Rocket's in charge now.
Oh yeah. Well, like the Marvel Wastelanders that I had you listen to.
Yeah, I listened to. Yeah.
It was Rocket and Star-Lord.
Yeah, in the first part. Yeah.
Did you listen to all of it?
I remember, like Star-Lord and Rocket. They're both old.
Yeah.
And I think Rocket was slowly dying.
Yeah.
And like, of course, Star-Lord was already sad from everybody else dying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And when he found out that he was, coughing up blood and stuff, I'm like, oh, he's gonna be hurt again. So
yeah, I mean, because I think it was like the radiation once they got back to Earth is what was killing Rocket. I can't remember. It's been so long. It's been like at least a year since I've listened to that. Have you listened to Marvel's Wastelanders?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I've listened to a little bit of it. We talked about that one time. I put it on my Spotify list. And...
Yeah, it was really good, man. Like everything.
I like they made it where he had to go against Kraven the Hunter.
Oh yeah.
They made it into like a.
Dang, I forgot about that.
It was like they made it into like a TV show or something like that. They made like Kraven. I can't remember. They said something. I can't remember his nickname. They called him something.
The Hunter.
They was chanting something. I can't remember. But like, yeah, they broadcasted it. They had a camera, like I guess to follow the hunt
series.
Yeah. And they heard Star-Lord was back, and everybody thought he was a true hero or whatever. So Kraven's like, I want to hunt him.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think Kraven's always done that, like kind of broadcasted his like hunts and stuff like that. Like at least do like a few iterations or whatever. But
and then I think they added Emma Frost into that in that bit, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, they had a little bit of everybody in there, man. Even like Doom, they had him, but he was like at like his weakest he'd ever been. But he had like a plan.
Well, I think he passed away, and that was his son.
No,
you're talking about Hawkeye. That's the Hawkeye version.
It's been a long time. Are you talking about like the? It might have been his son, or was it Baron Zemo? That was like his son was. I
think
taking over.
So I know the first one was about Star-Lord and Rocket. The second one was Black Widow, I think. Mm-hmm. And then I think Black Widow, Hawkeye, and then the third one I was listening to is the old Wolverine.
Oh yeah,
and he's playing like the X-Men teacher and stuff like that. So I still am listening to that one. I haven't really listened, maybe like 2-3 episodes in.
Just wait till you find out about the robot or the robot basically.
Okay.
What did they name her? Sharon or no? I can't remember.
I don't recall that.
But yeah, she's crucial. That's crazy. But yeah, Susan Sarandon was a Black Widow, which was they had like an all-star cast in that show. But
okay,
because the guy who voiced Hawkeye, he was the dude from Avatar, the military dude with the white hair.
Like
he played Hawkeye.
Yeah, then he played the movie Quiet.
Yeah.
The blind guy.
Yeah,
that's what I was gonna. That's the one I was gonna bring up. Yeah.
I gotta see that. Like people talk about how good that is.
Yeah, it's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, wait until you see what he had in the basement.
Oh, really? Shit. Like I thought that was like gonna be like a straight to DVD type movie. I mean,
the ones they surprise you. It's coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, it ain't. You'd think it's just about 3 teenagers?
Yeah, it's just trying
to rob this guy because they think he has a bunch of money, but they found out more
as the movie goes on. You find out,
man, when you find out what happened in the basement, man, Yeah, that's definitely.
it plays out cool though, because like I said, it starts off as 3 people taking advantage of a blind man, and you realize that they're the ones that's at a disadvantage right off the bat, and then the other parts.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm like, I gotta watch this shit. What is it on Netflix, right? Or no?
I'm not sure.
I don't know where it's at now.
What is it called?
Quiet, I think.
Quiet.
I can't remember. I know his name. I'll look his name up, but I watched Novocaine today for the first time.
Oh, with was it Zach? Was it not Zach? What's his name? Jack Quaid.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. It's Dennis Quaid's son.
Yeah.
Is he voices the animated Superman show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like was it Adventures of Superman or something like that? Yeah, like he's the voice of Superman, which is cool. Which I think that's kind of like the All-Star Superman essentially. So
yeah, but it made it on Amazon. I was like, okay, I hadn't watched it yet.
Yeah,
so.
It's good, man. It's good. It's like fun and lighthearted and whatnot. So
don't breathe.
Don't breathe. Okay.
Don't breathe. Yeah, not quiet. Quiet's a different one. That's the one where everybody's like quiet through the movie, and it's like the monsters can hear them or whatever.
Yeah, because the one kid's deaf and his hearing aid battery goes out, so it makes a loud.
Oh yeah. That was pretty messed up. I was about to watch the third movie, which was like the how it all started.
The
and
prequel,
shit. Yeah. So I was about to watch that, but I can't remember what I ended up watching since I guess instead. But yeah, that was on my list. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to watch Be Quiet or Don't Breathe, because so many people have told me about that. Like my siblings have told me about it.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I think there's a part 2.
Yeah, there's a sequel to it. Continuation of it.
But that I didn't really care for that one.
No, it was the first one was just such a, like you said, could have easily went straight to DVD, but it was such a hit, and then the second one's pretty much a straight to DVD type. It's a good follow up, but it's not.
Right.
Yeah,
it doesn't touch the original.
No.
So do y'all feel like we always like crave like a sequel? Like if a movie's good, like we just like sequel.
I do, but most of the time it lets me down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very often sequels be just as great. So
okay,
unless like I have seen a few where like the sequel is actually a prequel, and that makes it worth watching.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm definitely in the camp of wanting more, especially when it's a good movie and it sets up for more. But yeah, they almost never. It could be Fast and Furious where you go 12 movies, but it's just never what you never capture them. Even let's be honest, Fast and Furious ain't been the same movie since the first one.
No,
the first one was such a good concept, just a good fun car movie, and it's never been the same.
I was telling somebody, I really think that, I don't know if it was you I was talking, I think it was
just to dumb it all the way back down.
Yeah, just go all the way back to the basics, like just normal street race. Like at the end of it, like just end it off on just them going back to just a regular street race. Who's gonna win, whoever's pink slip or whatever. So because it's gotten way out of hand.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like even Tyrese was like, we're not getting hurt, man. Like he gets shot, and he's like, no bullet holes. So I'm not. Like what the fuck, man.
They literally got to the point they make fun of themselves in the movie.
Exactly, like because people were like, where are they gonna go next? Space, and they fucking like figure out a way to get them in space. Like it's like what the fuck, man. But I mean, I'm sure for them it's fun. They're making money, having a good time.
Just look at the cast. You get all those people together. Just like these Avenger movies, they obviously enjoy doing it.
Oh yeah. Because
they all take pay cuts to make that big of a movie. You wouldn't be able to. The budget would be astronomical if you paid everybody there.
Oh yeah. Which that might be what they were gunning for. It was like a Avengers type, but cars eventually.
Yeah.
Or but. Yeah, I think I'm over it though.
But no, like even like Novocaine, like it's a cool concept, and I'd love to see another adventure. But like I think it's just perfect as a standalone.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't need to see their relationship after she gets out of jail or whatever.
Oh shit! Spoilers. No, I'm just joking. It's funny.
But yeah, whatever. You just don't need to see it. Like,
yeah, no. What was it on?
it's on Amazon now.
Okay. He does a lot of Amazon projects.
He does, yeah. I was just say he's on The Boys and
that Superman show and wait, is the Superman show on Amazon? What?
The Boys?
Yeah,
I think it was.
Well, he did he voices Superman in the animated series. I'm trying to figure out if that was on Amazon Prime or not, but but that's Dennis Quaid's son. I don't know if you knew that or not.
A lot of sons in movies.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Thunderbolts had Bill Pullman's son in it, and it also had Kurt Russell's son.
Yeah. U.S. Agent is.
That's Kurt Russell's son?
Yeah, U.S. Agent is Kurt Russell's son, Wyatt Russell.
Just alike, bro.
Really?
Sounds
I did not catch that at all.
He's also you know what his sister is?
Oh, I know.
Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson?
Yeah.
Yeah, is Kurt Russell's. Actually, I think it's a stepdaughter, but yeah, that's Wyatt Russell's sister, and then Bill Pullman's son was Sentry.
Okay. I did not know this. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and then
wasn't
Jack Quaid is Dennis Quaid's kid.
Okay.
Which he was also he was in one of the Scream movies and.
Oh yeah, with what's her name?
It was the new Scream with Jenna Ortega or whatever. Yeah, when they rebooted it.
Yeah. I did see that one. I don't think I see the one that came after that, but they are coming out with another one, right?
Yeah, and then the cast that was in it after when they came back are all like not there now.
Yeah,
like it's just they were like, okay, well, they made the big mistake by not paying Neve Campbell, and the movie bombed. They literally, she even came out. She's like, I signed on, but they shortchanged me on pay, so I told them no. Damn. And so like. They won't say what they're paying her now, but they obviously paid her big because she came back. But.
Right. Y'all see that they're trying to shortchange Jeremy Renner for season 2 of Hawkeye?
He was blatant too. He's like,
they're trying to pay him half of what they paid him for their first season.
Yeah, he's like, just pay me the same as the first.
I saw the interview of him.
Yeah, he's like, what? I get ran over. Y'all think I'm like half the journey? Yeah, what the fuck? That's pretty messed up. But I mean, I didn't realize. I mean,
cutthroat.
I seen like him laid up in the hospital and all that shit, but I didn't realize what actually happened to him. Like I know he got ran over by a snowplow.
Me and my wife, we watched it. We watched the 60 Minutes on it, and like he literally got half his body ran over by a snowplow.
Like not just like like how like those excavators, they got like those little, like they're not metal, they're not wheels, but they got
a tank wheel.
Yeah, like the little
the conveyor belt style, like treads
that like ran him over. Like he was on like one of those big snow plowers. Like
it apparently was like run away, and he jumped up to shut it off. And when he did, his foot got caught and it threw him down and just rolled right over it.
Ooh.
Like he apparently saved people by like shutting it off because it was out of control. It was his, but it was out of control. And then, it ran over. And they said if he wasn't in the snow, and like because it was snow everywhere, and they kept his body cold, which gave him a fighting chance to live. But like he had to relearn to walk and everything.
Yeah,
damn,
fucking real Avenger there,
right?
Damn, like I didn't realize because I just looked it up the other day after the whole him
making a comment.
Yeah, and then like they showed like a picture of what actually happened. I was like, oh shit, bro, like because I think it was his nephew that he said when he found him, he was just like, and it's just big pool of blood and shit. And I was like, damn, bro.
I remember when I worked for the town of Clarksville, that happened to some, not for an employee here, but. We had a third-party crew come and do some work, and he was trying to load the, I think it was his back. Or no, it was one of those big mulch machines that, like, grind stuff up and shoot it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He was loading up on the trailer by himself, and one of the wheels came off the trailer, which caused him to flip, and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So he went out the window, and it fell on top of him, and it was like, he was sitting there talking to you normally until they pulled it off, and then, like, he went from normal to, like, it was a mess. As far as I know, he survived, but I don't know. He will never be in a good condition again. But
damn. Oh shit. Well, last question for you all: what's your favorite Marvel movie? Like, hands down. Like you can watch it over and over and over again.
My favorite Marvel, I would have to put. I would have to put Black Panther up there. Probably Endgame. And I like all Captain America movies. That's biased because that's my favorite character.
Like even like the first Avenger.
Yeah, first Avenger, second Civil War. Like
yeah.
The
second two were actually, I would say they're up there as far as like Marvel movies, like because Civil War was just like peak. Well,
if
Marvel.
You break down like the best of them, it's all usually directed by the Russos. So that just shows you how much they've got their finger on the pulse of.
Oh yeah.
Because like you said, the Captain America, and then both Infinity War and Endgame, and both Captain Americas are all usually your best ones.
Yeah.
Man, I'm right there with you on Black Panther, and then Civil War is up there, and then of course, I mean Endgame. But like a lot of them, I don't go back because I don't want to ruin the magic.
Right. Yeah.
I've like that memory of the first scene, you know, because like it's not the same, especially now that you know what happens. 10 years later, like it just the magic of it when it first happened, like
the part where he's like on your left,
and
everybody just comes through the portals. I'm like, oh my god,
oh man, actually, that whole sequence, you know, the hammer shaking on the ground, you think Thor's pulling it, and it's Captain America,
and then he finally says, "Avengers assemble, bro."
Which I did see a funny meme on that today, though. Because talking about how widespread everybody was, and he yells "Avengers," and he kind of goes "assemble," and they're like, "What'd you say?
What?
Like, what's the last part?" Like, you got to speak up.
Oh shit! Yeah, it's kind of like the Transformers 1 movie. Have you seen it? When like Optimus Prime was like, "Autobots, roll out," and they were just like, "What'd you say?" I think for me it was a lot of the originals, man. The first Iron Man, like I thought that was a really good movie. You know, like I even thought that scene where he dodged that tank missile and then he shot it and then he just walked away and then it just exploded. Like that whole
his little missile compared to that big one that he dodged.
Bro. And like the CGI for that was so dope. It was crispy, man. It was so good. And also Edward Norton's Hulk.
Well, even the beginning where they have the display and they do that field bomb and he just stands like this.
Oh yeah.
That was awesome, man.
The OG Hulk was good too.
Yeah, because I mean it was a brawling match at the very end. Like he took a cop car, broke it in half, then used it as fucking boxing gloves, bro.
Put both of them,
Yeah, and all fucking Abomination did was just spit out a tooth. Like, is that all you got? That was so sick, you know? Like, oh, man. Like, and that fight between him and, was it Blonsky, I think his name was?
Yeah, Emil Blonsky.
Before, like, after he got the serum, you know, like, that fight was pretty dope, you know? Just, like, him dodging all the Hulk's attack and all that shit, and he just got too cocky and got up in the Hulk's face, and true definition of fucking around to find out. You know what I mean? Like, he got kicked up against that, you know, tree, and then the whole him, like, I guess, Thunderbolt Ross seeing his condition, and then wanting, like, to trash him, basically, but then you see his, like, hand kind of, like, you know, like making a fist, like, you know, I'm not done yet. Yeah, which is crazy. But and then Black Panther, man, like that was a great movie. Like even that song, which the whole soundtrack to that movie was just dope. But the song, like All the Stars by like Kendrick and SZA, just that actually helped me with anxiety. I was having like so many like anxiety attacks where I had to like pull over to the side of the road while I was driving type of shit. Like I put that song on and it would just, I don't know, just something about it.
And that movie from top to bottom is just like, it's just a good movie. And like, even, I mean, Killmonger's technically not even a villain.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's literally just like a family feud. It's nothing like,
right.
I mean, the only villainous thing he did was, it's still not even a villain. He killed Claw, which is their biggest, you know, person. But like, he just used the back door to get back in where he had been kicked out.
Yeah, exactly.
Or his family. He didn't even do anything. Like, sins of the father. And yeah, it's just, great movie.
It was, man.
And even the very end, like he wanted to watch,
the sunset, because he heard about the sunsets in Africa and whatnot, which kind of makes you wonder, like, are they that great? Which I'm sure they are. Just like
shit, they look good in Lion King.
Yeah. But no, for sure, like a lot of the earlier movies, because that was before like Iron Man and the Hulk. That's before. There's a lot of good projects, but that's before all the bloating of everything. Like it wasn't nearly what it was, or what it is now. You know what I mean? It's just simple, Iron Man movie, simple, Hulk movie and all that stuff here and there. So that's what I appreciate about them at this point. So, but yeah,
we'll see. I don't know. Like Phase 6, I don't know. I just feel like Endgame, that was just straight peak for Marvel.
It was, man.
Like, it's gonna be hard to top.
It's gonna be very hard to top that. I don't know. Maybe one day they gotta close it at one point. Like,
yeah.
Well, and that's what, like,
I know it makes money, but I don't know. It's just.
Well, that's where, like, you could just retire this group and start a whole new thing. Just use the model to start right into the X-Men.
Yeah.
Because there's such a large amount of X-Men that it's literally like starting all over again with the Avengers, because you have just so many different stories you could tell. You don't have to have every one of them be the group.
Right.
You could have your standalone Wolverine movies or standalone whatever, or even just a couple of them teaming up. You don't have to have every one of them be a massive.
I said, like,
undertaking
in our first podcast together that I wanted to see like a Gambit, done right.
Oh,
I want to see now. Like, I feel like I changed my mind. Like, I want to see Cyclops done right. I really feel like, he
got the short end of the stick.
Yeah. Like X-Men 97, like, I think they, buffed them, some. But as far as like the live action movies, I feel like he was just definitely nerfed, man. So hopefully with them bringing James Marsden back for his Cyclops, that hopefully, like, they'll give him like that.
Well, the right people are in charge now, too.
Yeah, right. So hopefully they'll give him the justice that he deserves, because, I mean, Cyclops has always been a pretty dope character, you know what I mean? And I think contrary to popular belief, like, his eye beams aren't like heat vision. It's just a punching force. Like, he draws his power from like a different realm, and it's so like intense that it causes friction, and that's where the heat comes from. You know what I mean? So it's just all the friction and whatnot. So, but it's just really just like you getting hit really hard. But
I still think we talked about it, so it's new to you, but I still think the best ending to all this would be the next Deadpool being right after Secret Wars, and it'd just be Deadpool reliving scenes from the Avengers series over these past, at the time, I guess it'd be 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, whatever it is, but just him reshooting scenes and saying he was there, but in the background. Because apparently that's what Deadpool and Wolverine was going to be until they signed Hugh Jackman. Is he wanted to just like
say like the first Iron Man movie, like he was there in the Iron Man movies, but he was in the background somewhere. But they're going to do reshoots of like his new movie of him being in the background in every single like
so
Marvel movie.
His point of view.
Yeah,
like he was always there, but they didn't care enough about him to even let you know he was there.
Yeah.
So like even like probably like Thor: Dark World or something, like
that would make sense, because he's always been trying to be X-Man.
Yeah, so it's showing him breaking the fourth wall of always trying to be there, and they never include him.
Right.
And it'd be a great way to like flash back all these memories that people's had, like just good scenes from all the movies. And
it'd been funny, like when Iron Man came into the bar, hey, I'm putting the team together. Yeah, it's like,
hey,
like,
I'm down here.
Right.
Just ignoring him the whole time while he talking to Thunderbolt rolls.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Hopefully, Ryan Reynolds is still old enough, and
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see how this ends.
And then it also gives me a shot for I want to see that Wolverine and Hawk on screen together.
Man.
Wolverine and Hawk?
Yeah,
what's the storyline on that one?
Just them
they just
fighting.
They've
all,
there was even a cartoon of it.
Yeah, animated movie. Like, you can watch it. I mean, I think in the movie, they bring in Wolverine because there's this they said it was like abominable snowman or something like that, and there's another monster that's been in this town, and then whenever he lands to go, basically it's kind of like a Black Ops type shit, and so he goes to figure out what's going on, what's these monsters that everybody are speaking of. Like he comes across like the Hulk, like he even smells them before he sees them, because he says something smells like chemically wrong, but then like he sees the Hulk. And I remember reading something when he described being punched by the Hulk. He said it was like nothing like he has ever felt before. Like he said, like he got hit so hard that you don't even realize you've been hit until like, you gotta like think about it. Like it's just like I don't know, it's crazy to think about.
But then I also want to see them do some of the video game moves in the movie for the Avengers this next time. Like there's a speedball throw where Colossus actually throws Wolverine with his claws out. Like he throws him with his power, but Wolverine's claws.
Yeah.
Which looks better on the cartoons because, like, Wolverine's like 4 foot. But
yeah.
It's not as easy. But with CGI Colossus, you could easily do it.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys.
All right, man.
Anything else? Y'all good?
I think that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, because we are at the 2-hour mark, guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like the camera's still recording, so I appreciate y'all if y'all stuck with us this far, man. Just had a good time just talking about everything. And I had questions, but I really feel like, it went a lot better without the questions and all that stuff. So I think I might just start doing, just more natural, organic conversations. You know what I mean?
Well, it never hurts to have a guideline.
Yeah.
For a few of them, yeah.
Yeah, because it does. It's funny because even though I have all these questions, it does seem like the conversation always covers all the questions that I have. So, it's just like, it's funny that like, I look at the question like, nope, answer that. Like,
yeah.
So if y'all see me looking at my phone, it's not that I'm not paying attention. It's just I'm trying to like figure out what questions we haven't answered and all that shit. But with all that being said, I appreciate y'all coming through talk about this. Had a good time seeing the movie with you, and look to see more movies to come. I mean, we don't even have to do Marvel movies. We can just do other movies and shit like that.
I'm down for whatever.
Yeah. Shows, all that shit, you know what I mean? So, with that being said, guys, look out for the next podcast, and I'll catch y'all on the next one, all right?
All right.
Peace.
See y'all later.